You know how I don't like labels, right? The only reason on the website, on Shabbat.com, it makes you choose one is because that's just the reality of the world. And I'm not going to leave it. But personally, I would prefer that there weren't labels. And one of the labels that I really don't like, besides, the Orthodox Reform, I don't like that. I don't like the label secular. There is no such thing as secular. I'll explain to you why. It's very simple. It's very simple. If there is a God, then you've got to deal with it and not put your head in the sand. You don't have an option, if you are a smart person, to say, there is, but I'm a secular, so I don't have to. It doesn't work like that. It's almost like saying, well, I'm a smoker, so smoking won't affect me. Does that make any sense in the world? There's reality, and you either deal with it or not. What I can respect is just from an intellectual argument, because these are all intellectual arguments, I can respect. I once had a group of college guys over swimming. I used to have a pool. My current house doesn't. But I had a pool in my old house, and these college students came throughout the night, and they were swimming in the pool. We served a little booze and whatever. And one of the guys said, well, I'm secular. I said, I don't even know what that means. What does that mean? You believe in God or you don't? Well, I guess I don't because I'm secular. That's 0 sense. Do you or don't you? What are the arguments? So we spent about 3 hours, and we went through just intellect, no emotion. I don't like emotion can be manipulated. Just what are the pros, what are the cons? And in the end, he said, you know what? I'll tell you the truth. I don't care. Because I have a life, and I don't want to do anything with it that involves Judaism. So even if God is real, I don't care. I said, you know what? I actually respect that. That I can respect. You know why? Because then you're saying, yeah, it's good to get life insurance, but I just don't want to. It's good to stop smoking, but I don't want to. That's, you know what I'm saying? That's an intellectual place that you could take. You could say, I don't want. But to code it in a intellectual bubble, that makes no sense. Well, I'm secular, and thus, it doesn't work for me. The only reason I'm mentioning this is because somebody had said, oh, how does it that guys committed to yeshiva on Friday night? How do they commit? What do they eat, right? What is yeshiva? Anyone know? Yeshiva is just a place where you continue exploring. What does the word yeshiva mean? You guys know? Sit. It means sit. That's all it means. The word yeshiva from the word yoshev, speak Hebrew, yoshev means sit. So you're sitting, you're exploring more. Is it an intellectual place to sit and study more? Yes, it is. If you choose not to, that's the choice. But at least you can look in the mirror and say, I'm taking an intellectual stand. That makes sense to you, Max? That's why when you get up and you say stuff like that, I get it. Okay. I want to tell you a weird story. It's weird because it involves, a time in my life where I was going through a weird period. And I was in yeshiva myself, and I decided to play hooky one day. We all need a break, right? Some guys run out to Kofix and go to, right? You need a break? So I needed a break. And I was studying in the Staten Island yeshiva, and I took a break, and I decided I'm going to go shopping in Brooklyn. Now, if anyone here know New York at all? So if you don't have a car, to get to Brooklyn from Staten Island means you've got to go Staten Island, take the train to the ferry, go over the ferry, take the train in Manhattan, train to Brooklyn. It's like a 3-hour journey, which normally would take if you had a car half an hour, 40 minutes, right? Anyways, so I was bored on the train. I'm sitting there, I'm a little bit bored, and there's this couple. I don't think they were married, younger, boyfriend, girlfriend, and they're sitting there, and I decide I'm gonna have a little bit of fun with them. Why? Because I was bored. So I see one of them sticks his hand into a paper bag, the guy does, scoops out an apple, bites it, and puts it back in the paper bag. So I said, wow, like real loud so they can, wow. So they said, pardon me? I said, wow, that's amazing. They said, what's amazing? I said, how did you just do that? You just like stuck your hand in the bag, and in one motion he bit it and he put it back. How did you do that? So the guy's, I don't know what you're talking about. What do you do? How do you eat your apple? I said, well, honestly, when I take an apple, I have to speak to it first. not a bracha. I speak to the apple. So the boyfriend, girlfriend think I'm a meshugana. What does meshugana mean? Crazy man. I'm a crazy guy. So I decide to play along, and I say, yeah, I speak to my fruit. They said, what do you say? I said, sometimes to my apple, I'll be looking at the apple, and it's all red, but there's a little bit of green. You know how it's like red, a little bit of green? And I'll turn to the apple and I'll say, hey, you missed a spot on the apple because you're supposed to be all red, and instead there's a little bit of green. So the apple says back to me, and they say, whoa, you have conversation with your produce. How does that work? I said, well, I tell the apple you're red, you got a little bit of green you missed, and the apple says back to me, oh, you don't know the half of it. I used to be totally green, says the apple. I said, I don't understand what you mean. How did you were totally green, and now you're red? So the apple responds and says, well, look, it was important for me to be green because before I was ready to be eaten, before I was ripe, if I would be red, then you would see me on the tree and you'd pick me and you'd get a stomachache and I would be bad for you because I'm not ripe yet. So what do? I stay green. And because I am green, I blend in with the trees, with the leaves around me. You don't notice me because I'm green, just like the leaves, and I have a chance to ripen. So I say to the apple like this, conversation's continuing. I say to the apple, Jeremy, I say, you know, you're a brilliant apple because number one, you know that you're supposed to be eaten. How do you know you're supposed to be eaten? You don't have a brain? How do you know that you're supposed to be eaten? So you make sure no one can see you and eat you, so you make sure that you're green. You know you're supposed to be eaten. Number two, you know you're supposed to be eaten by beings that have eyes. How do you know eyes exist? How does the apple know that eyes exist? Number three, you know that those eyes can tell the difference between color. How do you know that my eyes can tell the difference between green and red? Right? Apple's got all this awareness. It's supposed to be eaten by beings that have eyes that can tell the difference between color. And step four, you can manipulate your color because you know the color of the leaves around you. And you can manipulate your color so that no one will see you. Number five, you know, ready, how my gastrointestinal system works. Meaning, how do you know that when I eat you when you're not ripe, that it's going to be bad for me? You know how my stomach juices work? So this apple knows it's supposed to be eaten by beings that have eyes that can tell the difference between color. It can manipulate its color. It knows exactly how my insides work. So it knows when it's ready. When it's actually ready, if nobody picks it, what does it do? What does the apple do? Ask Newton. What does it do? It falls, right? Yalla, ani mukhan, eat me. I said, you're like Apple Einstein. He's very, very brilliant. Right, you got to play in the words. Very, very brilliant apple that knows all these things. Think about this, Hannah. How does the apple know that I could see it? How does the apple know that I could tell the difference between green and red? In other words, we take for granted before fruit is ripe, it stays on the tree. It's a brilliant thing. We don't think about these things because you know what we do? We just say, evolution, evolution, la 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 la, evolution, evolution, evolution. For many reasons that I'm going to explain to you, evolution has a hard time explaining some of these things, and I'll explain to you why. But I have to continue with what I told this couple. So I tell this couple that I take this apple, which could tell the difference between green and red, knows that I have eyes, it's ready to be eaten. I take a bite into it. And you know what happens? First of all, that sweet cinnamony apple smell goes into my stuffed nose and I can smell it. Like, oh, it's so good. And what happens? As soon as that fragrance goes into my nose, that my nose can smell 1 part in 6 million, 1 part in 6 million, if there's a smell, my nose can smell it. What happens immediately? My salivary glands water up. I get ready for digestion, right? Immediately. I bite into it. The texture is awesome. If you have a good right apple, to me, I'm a big texture guy. I need good texture in my food. That's why I don't, you also like that? That's why I don't eat hard-boiled eggs. I don't like the rubberiness of it. You know what I'm doing? I can't. It's like one of the only foods I don't eat. I need texture. I eat a ripe apple. Watermelon. Texture is very important. The perfect crunch in a watermelon, glorious. I take the apple, I bite it, it's a great crunch. It's like one of those perfect crunches, and I'm eating it, and my teeth that are made to eat meat and vegetables. So you've got your incisors, you've got your canines, you got your bicuspids, you got your molars, and each one does something different, and you all have the right teeth, 4 different kinds, in the right place in your mouth. Right? The biting ones. Imagine if the incisors would have been back here, the ones that are used to bite off, right? You'd be in trouble. Instead, you have the grinders back here, the cutters in the front, the candies at the sides, where very often meat is tough. You give a rip. My tongue then can taste all the different tastes, from the sweet to the sour to the salty to the bitter. And I eat it, and I'm having a glorious experience. And I say to this apple, whoa, you are an amazing experience. Your smell, your taste, your texture, your appearance. And then the apple speaks up and says, I'm also good for you. Don't forget that. I happen to be really, really, really healthy. 1 a day. Well, keep that doctor away, which is true, by the way. 1 a day. Eat your apples. It's big time. So I'm eating it, and it's got those vitamins, and it's got fiber, allows my digestive system to work. When I'm finished, as I'm biting, I get to this black thing in the middle. And I bite down, and it doesn't taste good. It tastes like nothing. I almost broke my tooth, actually. So I spit it onto the ground, and I said to the apple, you messed up? You messed up? Because I'm biting, and you got a part of it that doesn't taste. So he says, Dummkopf. Right? That means dumbbell in German. Dummkopf. Dumbbell. Of course, those are my seeds. Each one of those seeds have in them trees. I said, what's that? Your seed, I can fit like 4 of you on my thumbnail. Yes, but each one has a tree. It has got DNA in it that is ready and willing and wants to jump into action. All it needs is for you to do what you just did. You spit me out on the ground. I knew you were going to do that. That's why I have no taste. I'm hard. You can't even, it's hard to crack me. You spit me out. Sunshine, rain, soil, everything that's needed is there. No one has to do anything. You can help it if you want to grow an apple orchard, but otherwise, Johnny Appleseed, flick those seeds, it'll do it by itself. And as soon as it goes to the ground, there's a foreman inside of the seed. And you know what the foreman says? Yella, everyone, yella. Roots, there. I need another root there. Gotta be balanced. Okay, bark, trunk, let's go. Strong, leaves, photosynthesis, get the sun, go catch the rain, make it go down like a straw, make it go up, get all the nutrients from the ground, let's go, and we need more leaves. Hey, roots, we're gonna fall over. More roots there, more bark there, and the DNA that's in this tiny thing that 4 of them can fit on my thumb is all there, but what happens before you throw it in? What does it eat before it gets put in the soil? The answer is it comes equipped with its own superfood, which you can't taste. If you tasted the food that seeds make, you would taste nothing. And yet, that superfood keeps it going until it goes in the ground. And this time, this boyfriend and girlfriend were no longer laughing at this crazy Meshuggah on the train. And I smiled, and they sealed the kippah, and I said, you know what? I think about these things. You know why? Because I don't want to go through life unaware. I don't want to be unaware. The greatest way to appreciate that you're in a designer world is to notice the design. Picture to yourself Yves Saint Laurent, a very famous designer, who makes a gorgeous dress for you, Racheli. And you've got this gorgeous dress, but you don't appreciate the stitching. You don't appreciate the fabric, the color, the design, the fit. To you, oh, it's a dress. Did you just kill the dress? You got to appreciate why he put double stitching here and single stitching there, and why it fits the way it does, and it slinks over your shoulder a certain way, right? That's how you appreciate a dress. Otherwise, go to the Goodwill store and slap on anything. If you're wearing a design, appreciate the design. Appreciate the fact that when you eat an orange, just saw an orange here. You eat an orange, appreciate the fact that it is pre-cut for you. Because if it wouldn't be pre-cut, if it would just be one globe, how would you eat it? Imagine, the moment you cut it, what would happen? Splits everywhere on your shirt, everywhere. So it conveniently comes like a pear. My wife cuts up fruit for my kids. The orange comes pre-cut. Citrus fruit that's very messy comes pre-cut. Crazy. Interesting thing, an apple, you can eat the skin. Is anyone here who doesn't eat the skin of an apple? Really? You should, it's good for you. The skin of an apple, the crunch is in the skin. Peel, the skin, what do you call it, the peel? The peel of an apple. So listen carefully, an apple that is, you could eat the skin, the inside doesn't need any color. The inside doesn't need color because you're eating the color and it's attractive to you. But an orange, where you can't eat the peel, the inside's got to be colorful as well. We live in an incredible designer world. Even seeds, think about this a moment. There are some seeds that are edible, like watermelon seeds. Does anyone here ever had a watermelon seed? You can buy them in the shuk. My son-in-law loves them. So watermelon is in danger of becoming extinct. Because what are we going to do? We'll eat all the seeds. There'll be no more watermelons. So what do the watermelon do to make sure that it doesn't become extinct? Two things. Number one, it produced many seeds. So some of them are going to slip through the cracks, and it has a mucus on the outside of the seed. So when you try to hold them, what happens? Some of them are going to end up on the ground. You can't even hold them. It protects itself. However, a peach only has one seed. So a peach is in much worse shape. Or apricot, only one seed. It's in danger. So you know what it did? You know what it did? So glorious. It has inside of it a seed that is surrounded by a shell. And the shell that holds that seed is glued together with the strongest glue in nature. It's very hard to open up a peach. You ever try to open up a peach pit? I used to try. They're called gegulim. I used to play with them in Israel when I lived in Israel. Very hard to open. Mishmush, right? Very, very, very hard to open. There's only one way to get rid of the glue in order for the seed to be revealed. You know how you get rid of the glue? Put it in the ground. The ground has the right chemicals to open up the shell so that the seed of a peach is able to open up and bear fruit. Because it has only one, it glues itself with amazing super glue, and the only thing that can dissolve it is earth. Earth dissolves seed. Earth dissolves seed. Well, talking, oh, well, that's exactly what evolution would say. Not really, because what happened before it developed that glue? They all would have died out beforehand. There had to be a time that there was no glue. And then how did it survive? Did it have more than one seed? Probably not. Probably always only had one seed. We live in a designer world. So when we speak about, oh, I'm secular, I'm religious, I'm Jewish, stop with the labels. If you ask me, what am I? I try to say I'm a searcher. I'm a searcher. In Hebrew, we call that a mevakesh. When I sit in front of a student on campus, I can tell in 2 seconds whether they are a mevakesh. Are you a searcher? Do you go through life aware, happy, thankful, grateful, excited, a giver? Right? Part of giving is appreciation, right? You appreciate the fact that you have eyebrows above your eyes so that when you go jogging in the morning, the sweat that comes down doesn't get into your eyes, sting your eyes, and blind you. What happens to that sweat? It goes to your eyebrows, and the eyebrows channel it around the side so that it doesn't get in your eyes. Hey, they're not just for looks, eyebrows. They're there to protect your eye. And your eyelashes, they're also not just there for looks. It's to bat away the dust so that your eyes can see. And that the fact that your eyes can focus faster than any camera that we've ever made. I'm looking at you, you're near. I'm looking at you, you're far. It focused just now. Boom, 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 boom. My poor Samsung takes like 3 seconds to focus. Maybe iPhone could do it in 1 second, but not as quick. I can go like this. You. I focus on all of you. And my eye, who's my eye person? She went out. The eyes focus in and out. Exact amount of light, depending how light and dark it is. The ears, the Bose wave radio. Does anyone here own a Bose wave radio? Bose, okay, I own a Bose. Bose won a huge award for the wave radio. It's able to amplify sound in an amazing way. Where did Bose learn how to do that? Looking at the ear. We live in a designer world. Do you know, if you have skin, bacteria falls in it, you actually have antibacteria that's not bacitracin, but on your skin that kills bacteria. You have bacteria in your stomach that eats up food. Crazy. We live in a designer world. Someone said to me this Shabbat, they said, you know, I don't know about God. I don't feel God. What do I do? So I said, stop trying to be that intellectual. You don't need science. All you need is a little bit of gratitude. A little bit of gratitude to know that the fact that your heart has pumped more than 10 million times so far in your life, many more. The fact that you have legs that can walk with joints that are lubricated without conjoinant. That ears can hear in 3D, right? Cars coming, baseball's coming. I know exactly where it's coming from, listening to the snaps. The fact that your hair cushions your head. Hair's not just for looks. It's important. Your brain needs a little cushion, a little bit of a buffer. Are you feeling this? Any questions about this? Or I will go to part 2. Does that make sense? Again, don't live life oblivious. Be grateful. Be grateful. Be grateful to your parents. Be grateful to anyone who's done good for you. And be grateful to a world that in this world we're able to have all these things that we got for free. We didn't pay for them. We just have them and they work so well.